Welcome to season 3 of I Love Palm Beach. And I have a really special, interesting guest here today. His name is Wayne Robbins. He's a Jupiter Floridian, spent many, many years in Jupiter. And he's now discovered this lovely country of Belize. And Belize and Florida go hand in hand because it's only a 2-hour ride on a plane, Southwest Airlines, from Fort Lauderdale. I think I spent $175 last time I flew down there. And it's a good answer for the weekend getaway for a Floridian. And it's a little bit different than the Florida landscape because we have jungles there, which we don't really have in Florida. We've got mangroves, but there are jungles with panthers and monkeys and all kinds of beautiful birds and things that, even though it's a tropical climate, are a little bit unique to Florida. But first of all, Wayne, I want you to say hello to everybody. And I want to talk about how you ended up in Florida and why you love Palm Beach and how you kind of drifted off to this magical place.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Rebecca. Been a little while since we talked, but as Rebecca said, I live in Jupiter, Florida. I'm originally from New York, and how I actually found Palm Beach was I got this tax bill in the mail when I was living in Port Washington, Long Island, and my taxes had actually gone up 80%. And my girlfriend was out of town at the moment, and I said, "This is crazy." At the same time I got the tax bill, my friend who always calls me from Stewart, Florida, which is about 30 minutes away from Jupiter, said, "Wayne, when are you coming down to Florida?" You know, at that moment in time, it actually struck me. He said, "Wayne, come on down. I've got this place in Jupiter. My tenant just moved out. It's right off the water. You'll love Jupiter." But all the time thinking, I had always thought that Florida was for the older person. And not that I'm young, but I just felt this was 17 years ago, mind you. And I looked at my tax bill, and you know what? I said, I got on a plane by myself. My girlfriend was in California at the time. Went down to see my friend. He picked me up. We had dinner. I stayed the night in Stewart, and then we drove to Jupiter. And the place was very nice. It was a 3-minute walk from the beach. It was a dog beach, and we do have a dog. And it's the only dog beach in that arena, and people come from all over just to walk on that dog beach. And it had a beautiful pier. It was a beautiful community, which now is almost impossible to get into. And I loved it. So I went back to New York. My girlfriend came back, and she was never a big New York person. She was a big golfer. And our commute at the time was about an hour and a half into the city. So that was a killer itself. So I said, "Hey, I'm thinking, I just went to Florida. I'm thinking, you know, it's beautiful down there." And I showed her some pictures of what I had taken of Jupiter. I had never heard of Jupiter, to be perfectly honest. I thought it was somewhere between Venus and Mars, but I found out it's in West Palm Beach. And it was just truly, truly beautiful. We had met some neighbors. When I was down there, I met some neighbors who lived in the community, and they were all friendly, and they told me a lot of positive things. So I asked my girlfriend, "Would you consider moving to Florida?" And she said, "In a heartbeat, you know, in a
How can you
heartbeat."
say no, right?
As I said, in New York, she could only play golf 3 months out of the year. If we had moved to Florida, she can play golf 12 months out of the year. So we flew in the next couple, I think 2 weeks later, we flew down to see my friend again, and we showed her the place, and she fell in love with it. We went to the beach just to chat with him. And 3 hours later, we're still on the beach, and it seemed like it was 10 minutes that had just passed. So she loved it. I hated my tax bill in Port Washington, New York. So to make a long story short, I sold my house in Port Washington fairly quickly because I was a realtor at the time, and I still am. And we got on a plane, and all my friends said, "Wayne, it's going to take you a long time to get used to Florida. You're going to have the attitude adjustment. You lived in New York, which is one of the greatest places in the world, so very fast." So I said, "No, I don't think so. I don't think so." As soon as I got off the plane in West Palm Beach, I adjusted very quickly to Jupiter. And once again, not to dwell on it, but I've lived there for over 17 years. I love Jupiter, becoming very popular, a little bit too popular now, but I'm glad to see everyone is moving to Florida, and a lot of people, especially from New York and California, are moving to the West Palm Beach area, which is just drop dead gorgeous. So if you're
Yeah.
moving to the West Palm Beach area, you can always call me or Rebecca, especially Rebecca because she's hands on. So then I'm in Florida for a while, and I'm in the real estate development business at the time, and we were doing projects all over the country. We were doing a project in South Beach, and we got out of that project just before the market started to turn. And we were doing projects in Mexico, and we did one small project in Belize City, and I had never heard of Belize once again, and that didn't go too well. I'll be perfectly honest. But then my partner met a Caribbean developer that was doing work in Placencia. Once again, I had no idea where Placencia was in Belize, but it's a 25-minute puddle jump from Belize City. And as Rebecca said, from Florida, Belize is a very quick trip. Not at the moment, Southwest ain't flying from Fort Lauderdale due to the COVID, but they're
Oh,
certainly
okay.
going to pick it up again in early November 2022, I hear. There is a direct flight out of Miami, and there's always been that flight for all the years. American is a major airline down in Belize. And like Rebecca said, it's not even a 2-hour flight. It's about an hour and 40-minute flight. And you're in Belize. Very simple. She said Florida and Belize have a lot in common. And I always tell my clients that if I was to compare a state in the U.S. weather-wise to Belize, it would be Florida. And if I had to compare an area that was very similar to Belize, it would be the Key West.
Really?
Now, yes, Key West is much more advanced and Belize is less advanced, but it's very similar to Belize. Belize is a beautiful country from the people, which is why I've been down here over 14 years. I started out spending 2.5% to 3% of my time on a yearly basis. I now spend 95% of my time. I just got back from Florida actually a few weeks ago. But Belize is just drop dead gorgeous. There's a lot of opportunity down here. The dollar is very strong. Some of the biggest things you guys should consider from an investment perspective is one, that it would complement your U.S. portfolio very well. The English speaking and British Commonwealth is very, very, very strong, along with the dollar being strong. Buying real estate in Belize is actually very similar to buying real estate in Florida. You get a deed, you get a contract, you get physical ownership, not like some of these other Caribbean countries that I won't even get into. From an economic and tax point of view, the tax situation is very strong. And what I mean by that, it's very favorable. You buy it, and I'm using it as an example. You buy $1 million house in Florida, and I love Florida, and everyone should own a piece of real estate in Florida, but your taxes are very high. They're in the probably, and Rebecca, correct me if I'm wrong, they're in the probably 1.9% of the purchase price.
Yeah, 1.87. You're right
Right.
on
So
there.
$1 million house is
Mhm.
going to cost you almost $19,000. That same $1 million house in Belize is going to cost you about $35.
Wow.
The
Yeah.
income in income producing property down here is also a golden opportunity. I don't want to take up all that time, but it's definitely worth having either an income property opportunity down here, a home or condo. And then the times that you're not here, you can put it into the property management pool. All these different communities have property management pools. Or it's actually over the last 2 years, homes and condos are renting very well on Airbnb, VRBO.
Mhm.
I have a neighbor 3 doors down who makes anywhere from $20,000 to $35,000 a year during the time that he's not here. He's got a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, very nice house. So there's a lot of reasons to consider Belize. And Rebecca and I have been friends for many, many, many years, and we always wanted to do something together. So this is a very concentrated effort now. We're going to be spending a lot of time. I'm going to be showing her some of my listings that I have down here, and we hope to get it on MLS in the States so that we can give each and every one of you just an opportunity to look at it. I think Belize is for everyone, and perhaps I'm biased because I am a realtor and I've been down here a long time, but I am the perfect validation. As I said earlier, I used to spend 3% of my time down here. I'm spending 95% of the time. I'm a tough person to say, hey, don't you miss Florida? Don't you miss the malls? Don't you miss the franchises? To be perfectly honest, I don't. I actually think Florida is wonderful, very similar to Belize, but Belize is truly paradise for for the right person, for for the outside the box thinker, for the person that wants to, as I said earlier, complement their U.S. portfolio, their Florida portfolio, for the person that wants to say, hey, what if I don't want to retire in the United States? Do I have a plan B? I think Belize is a plan A for a lot of people, but it's definitely a solid plan B. Everyone should consider Belize, from the tax situation to the ease of buying real estate. But once again, what I want to leave you with today is two things. Well, three things. One, I'm available. Rebecca has my contact information, or you can go directly to Rebecca. But two, the English speaking that I spoke about. It's not like some of these other Caribbean countries where you'll get a real estate contract in Spanish, and then you have to hire an interpreter, and then you have to make sure all the fine print. You get it in English. It's very similar to a Florida real estate contract. The British Commonwealth law believes is a very stable, democratic country. The strength of the American dollar, like some of these other Caribbean countries, it's a variable rate. Belize is a fixed rate. It's been fixed ever since it became a country. It used to be British Honduras, for those who want to just Google Belize and understand the history of this beautiful country. So the dollar has always been fixed 2 to 1. So it's oxymoronic as it sounds. When you come on down here, you're actually getting a bang for your buck. And that's a very good thing, considering we all know the value of the US dollar. So Belize is an opportunistic country. It's easy to get to. There's a lot of smart money coming into Belize over the last several years. Norwegian Cruise Line came in about 4 years ago, Rebecca.
Yeah.
They invested over $300 million in an island called Harvest Key, and their ships come in to this arena. They haven't come in, of course,
Mhm.
with the COVID situation, but they're starting up again in the next few months. Sugar companies have come in. A lot of big investors. They just opened several major hotels in San Pedro, and the real estate there sold out in a very short amount of time. We're known for, as most of you know, we're known for scuba diving, fishing, snorkeling, boating, probably top 3 in the world. We have the second largest barrier reef. Probably, the first now, because we're much more healthier than the one in Australia, because we actually spend time restoring the reef. We have grant money, and we actually have major groups that really are attentive to the coral restoration and keeping it healthy, because we want people to come. We have the Blue Hole, which is probably one of the most famous places to scuba dive, and people come from all over the world to scuba dive in the Blue Hole. Once again, I hope I have at least lit up your mind to start thinking about Belize. I hope you do some homework. If you have any questions, please email Rebecca, and she'll either forward them to me, but she knows a lot about the country as well. We're getting together shortly in Belize so that I could show her my perspective, which is a totally different perspective, because I've been down here 14 years and I know a lot of people. And I want to introduce her to some people to see if we can get even Belize through to the Florida market more on the map, more attention, get you guys thinking about, you know what, I do need a plan B. But at the same time, my goal has always been, from a realtor point of view, and why I'm down here, which is slightly different from Rebecca's, who's selling you the primary home or even perhaps an income opportunity or some land. I don't want to sell you a house, because a house is a house. What I do down here, from my I want to educate you on belief, but I want to sell you a lifestyle. You come on down here,
Absolutely.
yes, you purchase a house, you purchase a condo, you purchase a piece of land where you want to build a house. But I wanted to sell you a lifestyle. Well, when you do come down here, you'll keep yourself busy, whether it's seeing the Mayan ruins, the Jaguar Preserves, the waterfalls, or going, like I said, boating, scuba diving, snorkeling, visiting the keys, and there's hundreds and hundreds of keys, or just doing nothing and pulling up and swimming up to the pool bar and having a cocktail and just breathing and decompressing. And that's what Belize is all about. You can keep yourself very busy, or you can just do nothing and sit back. When you come on down here, if if you like, I'll be more than happy to show you around. I'm in Placencia, Belize, which is a beautiful part of Belize. It's a peninsula, so we're part of the mainland. You can drive actually from Belize City to Placencia. So if you want to Google Placencia and see just what Placencia is all about, please do that. I have a great deal of information on my Facebook pages and Instagram. So I hope I was pretty informative today. Check it out. Google it. Don't take my word. I'm telling you, I've sold a lot of real estate down here over the past 14 years. I don't think I have one unhappy client. If I do, they haven't said it. You can own land, you can own condos, you can own homes, you can own lots. For the bigger investor, I have islands and real estate development land that one can develop with golden opportunities down here. And as I said, Belize over the next 3 to 5 years is going to be a very strong investment. There's a lot of positive things happening. There's a new government that has come into place, and they have shown that they're pro-business. So we're trying to create more jobs down here for the Belizeans, which is a very good thing. We have a big expat community for those who are interested. And as I said, another good thing, and I'm going to leave you with this because I know Rebecca's got other things to do besides talk to Wayne, but I appreciate it, is to get dual residency. So it's very easy to get. You don't have to give up your U.S. residency. And once again, I want to give you that what-if situation. It's nice that I'm a resident of I'm a resident of the U.S. as well. You know, when you come down here and you have dual residency, you walk on the residency line. It has many advantages as well from being a resident. So check it out. We have great things. We have a QRP program. We have a residency retirement. We have a residency program. Belize wants to get more Americans down here. So I hope I was enlightening. I hope I was really educational. And once again, Rebecca and I are here if you have any additional questions that we can answer for you. And I want to thank you for your time. I hope you have a great Sunday. Beautiful weather down here. I hear in Florida is the same way. So I hope to see some of you soon, or I hope to hear from you, Rebecca and I, where we could answer some questions as to you. And the big question is why Belize? And I hope I answer that. But I can also tell you many, many more things. We could be talking for an hour and a half. And I can tell you why Belize with all the positives as to why you should seriously consider investing. But thank you, Rebecca, for your time.
Thank you for spending Sunday with me. It was really fun. I can't wait to get down there again and visit with you. At least I got to see you when you were here in Florida.
My casa. Mi casa is your casa.
All right. All right. Well,
happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Have a great day. And thanks, everybody. This is I Love Palm Beach. And we also love Belize.
Thank you for listening to this week's show, and we hope you visit again next week. Please share with your friends, and we look forward to showing you around our amazing city soon.